Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this morning, it's one of those mornings where I just could not find a story that I wanted to talk about. TMZ, what's going viral, political stories, right-wing watch on Twitter. I couldn't find a story I wanted to talk about. And I haven't looked at yesterday's video at all yet. When it first came out yesterday, I had high hopes for the video because I started getting comments and watching the views go right up as soon as I downloaded yesterday's video about Snoop Dogg. But then yesterday, I haven't looked at all. So I have no idea if it got a lot of views or very little views. But as the day went on, I saw less comments coming in, and I don't know. Yesterday's video, I had to change the title of it because, like I said, I was very excited about it. It came out good. I thought it was it was from the heart, and it was talking about how I was talking about Snoop Dogg, and then how I initially started smoking marijuana, and I got to make sure I'm over the minute. Okay, I can talk about it, and it came out. I thought it came out very good. It was from the heart, and I got a few comments right off the bat, and the views went right up. And I was hoping it would get monetized, and I'd get a lot of views, and it didn't get monetized. I got yellow lighted. And I thought it was just something I said in the video. So about an hour later, after the video downloaded, I decided to go back and change a word in the title. I took out the word smoke because I said the title of yesterday's video was Snoop Dogg says he's going to quit smoke, which I thought was a perfect title. It described the situation perfectly. And I said, you know what, maybe I'll try, because I saw a lot of views coming in, a lot of comments, and I was bummed. I was like, I got a good video here. I'm proud of it. And it's going to be yellow. It's yellow lighted. So I'm going to try taking out the word smoke. And I took out the word smoke. And within 10 seconds, it got green lighted. And it was monetized. And then I wrote about this in my community, on my community page. As soon as that happened, I wrote in the community page in case anybody was wondering why I took that word out. And I said in the community page, I hope this doesn't affect, because it kind of makes it obscure. It kind of makes it, you don't know what he's quitting. I changed the title to Snoop Dogg says he's going to quit, and that's it. Quit what? Quit music. Quit breathing, quit eating ice cream, who knows. That's the second or third time I brought up ice cream. I have an ice cream fixation. Anyway, okay, so like I said, I don't know how that video did yesterday. As I was going through my day yesterday, I thought more about it, and I thought about things that happened when I was smoking marijuana. And some of the stuff, I'm going to share some stuff with you today. Again, I am not glamorizing. Like I said, I've been clean and sober for 17 years, and marijuana is like I told you guys yesterday. I don't even remember what it smells like. I swear in the Bible, I haven't smelled it in years. I don't even remember what it smells like. I don't miss it. I don't get cravings for it. I don't miss spending money on it, and I don't miss any of it. So that being said, I wanted to share a few things with you guys. I remember, like I said in yesterday's video, I thought this was kind of funny the more I thought about it yesterday. Because we used to call it bones, a joint or a blunt. And then I started thinking about that. There were no blunts back when I first started smoking, back in the 80s and 90s, but especially in the 80s when I was in high school from 80 to 84. They were called bones. And I thought of, like a joint, a bone, smoke a bone. That was what it was called. Everybody knew what that meant. And I thought about today. I'm not familiar with the whole weed scene or what it's, but I imagine it's called blunts or trees. It used to be called trees or green or 420. And so yeah, we used to call it bones. Then I thought about how the price has changed and how the whole quantity and how the potency has changed. Back when I first started smoking, back in probably about 1981, I was about 14, like I said in yesterday's video, about 1981. There was almost no green here. It was brown. We called it a round town brown. And if I remember right, it was a half ounce for $20 and an ounce for $40. And then I was trying to think yesterday, because I talked about dollar bones, and I was like, how do we make money on that? because we get 20 bones and out of $20 worth of half ounce. And I was trying to remember. I said, how did I ever even make money on that? I was like, did I actually sell them for $2? I couldn't remember, and I still don't remember. That was 40 something years ago. So we called it a Round Town Brown. And here's something I do kind of miss: the smell of it. It's used to smell totally different. It was brown. It was brown, and there was almost no, because today it's almost all grown in the United States, hydroponics and stuff like that. Back then, it wasn't. It was imported from Mexico in small bales or large bricks, and compressed. And it was literally brown. It was almost kind of moldy sometimes. And I don't know why it was brown, but almost all the weed back then was brown, and it had a different smell. Like I said, today it smells skunky. It's green. Back then, it was all imported it came in from Mexico, and it was brown. And if I could describe the smell, it smelled like vanilla almost, And as I was going through my day yesterday, I don't want to say, I had a nostalgic memory of what it used to smell like. I remember being in high school, and there was what we called alternative school. And it was in the basement, and it was where the kids that were going to quit school but decided to stay, like the troublemakers and stuff like that, were in the basement, and it was called alternative school. And the rest of us were in the top 3 floors, and I'd be in my English class, and I was actually in accelerated courses back then. And, we'd smell it coming up. We'd smell this vanilla. It's like I said, I think it smelled like vanilla coming up. All the teachers. I mean, the whole building smelled like marijuana. Our high school, like every day. I used to smoke a lot too. I mean, I remember smoking in the morning, like I said, before school, during study hall breaks, and we'd smoke right in the bathroom at school, right after school. Honestly, probably about 7 times a day. And like I said, I'm not glamorizing. It's a miracle I even passed high school. I never failed one course in high school. I did very good. I don't know how that happened. I'm going to share with you something that happened. This is a completely true story. I was about 18 years old, 17, 18 years old, and I worked in a factory. It was for telephone components here in Connecticut, here in Watertown, Connecticut. And I was about 17, 18 years old. And I would bring parts there was girls, like, I love this job, man. I was the only guy, and there was 2 big tables where women were assembling electronic parts, like 20 women at one table and 20 women at the other table. And I'd start working in the afternoon after I got out of school. And then after school, the women would go home, and these 2 tables would be filled up with girls from high school working part-time at night. So it was me and 2 full tables, like 20 girls, 20 high school girls, all sitting at a table, and they were all gorgeous. And the girl I was dating was actually working there too at the time, so I had to be good. I was a good guy back in high school. I wasn't one of those. I made mistakes, but anyway, so it was me working with these 20 girls, and the bosses would all go home. So I'd go up on the dock. I'd go upstairs to the loading dock, and me and my friend worked in the plastic injection next door. So he'd come over, and we'd go smoke pot on the break, or whenever we wanted to. So we go up on the loading dock, and you go to the end of the loading dock, and if you look around the corner, there's like it's about 12 feet high, a ledge along the side of the building, and it leads to a water tower, to a ladder, and goes up to a water tower. So this time on the way out, we went down to the bottom, we walked around, went up the ladder, and went up to the water tower, and decided to smoke up there. We always wanted to smoke on high places. Like, we used to climb trees, ladders, buildings, and smoke up on top of them. Why? I have no idea. Like getting high, I guess. Okay, this is a completely true story, like I said. So then, about 10 minutes, the bone is gone. We're all high, and we decided we got to go back into the building. But instead of going all the way down the ladder and back along the ground and back up around into the loading dock, I decide, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I went along the ledge, because it's a lot quicker, so it's about 12 feet up, and it's a concrete wall. And then there's the actual metal wall where at the ledge is about maybe this wide. So the cement goes up, and then it's a little 6-inch ledge, and then the metal wall. And it's about 20 feet long, 15 feet long. So I tell my buddy, I said, look, I'm going to go along that ledge, along this 12-foot high ledge like this, against my stomach, and go inside, and, I'll beat you in, So, and it didn't even occur to me what might happen. So I start moving along the ledge, right? My stomach against the wall, and it's 12 feet down onto a concrete pad down below. I get right to the end of the wall. It's about 6 feet away to where I can go around the corner into the loading dock. And all of a sudden I just start falling backwards. My balance goes. And I'm, like I said, I'm all high from, smoking. And this never even occurred to me, being in that condition, this might happen. And I just start falling backwards, 12 feet onto concrete. And I just at the last moment, I went to grab the end of the wall, and I missed it, and I kind of spun, and I hit. Thankfully, I did that. That's what I did. Otherwise, I would have landed on my back, 12 feet down, or my head, and I wouldn't even be sitting here today, or I'd be paralyzed. But I tried to grab the end of the wall, and it spun me around. And so I went down 12 feet, and this arm landed first. Like I had my arm out going down like this, and it broke these two bones. It's still, that's what I'm saying here, it's still massively deformed. These two bones broke completely clean through. My arm bent here in the middle. When I stood up, and my arm was bent right here in the middle, and it was this thick. It was this thick right here. The two bones were on top of these two, and it bent. It didn't go through the skin. And I stand up. I start to go into shock. And this, I swear to God, my buddy, my best friend, who's now married to my ex-girlfriend, this guy pops up in a lot of my videos, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Definite bone damage, dude." I swear to God. And he starts laughing. He starts laughing. My arm's bent in the middle. I'm going to shock, and that's what he said. This isn't glamorizing the drug. This is the stupidity of what happens when you're using this stuff. I ran inside. I went to they saw my arm. Some of the girls almost passed out when they saw my arm. They called the ambulance. They took me to the hospital. They straightened my arm. They pulled on my hand, and I heard the bones snapping and sliding against each other. You want to talk about pain, man. That's like I talk about, I've been in a lot of fights, a lot of altercations, and I talk about, getting hit in the face. And it's really, compared to some of the other pain I felt in my life, your bones being strained, a little tap in the face is nothing, is absolutely, it doesn't faze me. Yeah. And then 8 weeks later, the doctor took the cast off, and I looked at my arm. You can see it's massively, and that's as far as I can move it. The doctor told me to. He kind of whispered to me. He said, "You get a lot of money for this," and I didn't even know what he was talking about at the time. I could have sued the company that I worked for, and I never did, like an idiot. I was on workman's comp for a while. I told them another story. I told them that I was standing on the end of the dock, and I just happened to fall backwards off the dock, which is kind of stupid, but they believed me. And then they put up a chain there to stop people from falling backwards off the dock, which isn't really what happened. But yeah, one of the stupidest things, and I've lived with this my whole life, deformity. It hurts. It hurts a lot of the time. I try not to let it affect me, but this, and it wasn't drinking, it wasn't anything. It was just smoking. So recovery is possible. Marijuana isn't as enjoyable as you think it is if you smoke every day and you think it's great and everything. It's really not. It becomes a necessity. It becomes just a drag. It really does. Recovery is possible. Have a good Saturday.